continued to function. We asked for equality under the law, and they gave us Jim Crow and redlining. The machine continued to function. In the 1950s and the 60s and the 70s, we asked again, and they imprisoned and killed our leaders. The machine continued to function. After segregation legally ended in 1964, just 56 years ago, mind you, redlining and gentrification continued to negatively affect communities of color, preventing us from buying homes in certain neighborhoods and deepening the racial and socioeconomic divide present in this country. The machine continued to function. The software of this well-oiled machine of systemic racism has had countless other updates in years that it's been in place, but now we need to push for an end to the system. The prison industrial complex, which allows police brutality to continue and thrive. Now I'm questioning why we keep asking for updates to this well-oiled machine. Why not just scrap it and look for a system rooted in more equitable systems for our community? Now, I know abolition, the little A word, it can sound a little scary, it can sound radical, but it's necessary. We need to recognize that policing as we know it is not the best way to serve it, and we need to get away from it at all costs. We've already asked for police reform. It didn't work. A system that allows for a police force to knowingly keep a child molester on the force, sweep the allegations under the rug, and then elect him as president of their police union. I'm looking at you, Boston Police, looking at you on top of the stage. A system that allows for that cannot be reformed. It cannot be allowed to continue. Just last week in New York City, months after the Eric Garner Anti-Chokehold Act was signed into law, we saw an NYPD officer with, guess what, his knee on another black man's neck. On Monday in Minneapolis, literally 15 minutes after being banned from launching tear gas onto protesters demanding for justice for Daunte Wright, the police did just that. This country's police department has shown us time and time and time again that we can put all the rules we want in place regarding what the police can and can't do. This country's police system has also shown us that time and time and time again that the police will continue to break those rules because they know they have the power to do so. They know that as long as we continue to present a divided front, they will continue to have that power. So what would a world without police look like? That's for us to decide, but the road to abolition starts at the realization that our current form of policing does very little to prevent proactive crime. We'll be on the road to abolition once we start dismantling our current systems through actions like ending private prisons. Actions like decriminalizing drug use so that people with drug use disorders can seek restorative help rather than fearing facing punitive measures that will only perpetuate their drug use disorder. Actions like massively defunding the police. And I'm talking massive, not like we saw in Minneapolis with the Minneapolis PD when they divested 4.5% from their $179 million police budget. Defunding the police and divesting that money into the community at large will pay for things like affordable housing. It'll pay for things like quality resources for education. It'll pay for things like physical and mental health care. And so much more that will in turn reduce our need for police at all. So, I know the word abolition can be scary. Prisons and with them, the idea of sending people who commit crimes to a designated place designed to psychologically and often physically punish them, and then further separate them from their communities, they've become so prominent and normalized that it can be hard for us to imagine a world where they don't exist. But to loosely quote poet Joseph Capehart, if we don't clearly and boldly name our end goal, there's absolutely no way that we can get there. Come on! Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, I was having a shitty day, but she just made me feel better. So make some noise for her. Alright. right, we're gonna keep it rolling. Up next, we're gonna bring our brother Kurt, a super duper dope motivational speaker. All I gotta do is go on his IG page and I feel like I'm ready to take over the world. Make some noise for Kurt, y'all. A little bit louder, make some noise for Kurt, y'all.
How we doing today? Man, I got a 6-year-old son. You can do better than that. How we doing today? Yeah. First and foremost, let's clap it up for yourselves. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. I said clap it up for yourself. You guys can do it. There we go. Question though, how many people were here last year when there was a whole bunch of protests and rallies for George Floyd? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Keep them up high. Look around. A year later, we're back. I know there's a famous quote in this country that history tends to repeat itself. But why is that?
We ain't learned nothing.
Say that again?
We ain't learned nothing.
We ain't learned nothing. But let's be honest though. I'm a little bit disappointed in a lot of us who are here, including myself. Because the truth is, are you really giving 100% effort?
Teach.
Are you? The sad thing is I see so many people love to gather together and be reactive when we see a young man or a young woman get shot by the police. But I don't see too many people being proactive
Teach.
when it comes to elections.
Teach.
I don't see too many people being proactive when it comes to mental health services in our community. I don't see too many people being proactive when it comes to, private prisons in our community.
It's a long process.
Absolutely. But if we're consistently being reactive when a young man or a young woman get lost, then why the hell are we doing this shit for?
Come on.
What's the point?
Come on.
Teach.
Let's be honest. And it's okay because I said I'm in that bunch. If you're just clapping your hands and when you're amongst your peers, but you're not clapping back at family and members who might be ignorant, you might not be meant for this movement. It starts at home. Right? Right? If you love to rally up when someone's being reactive because a social media post goes viral, but you're not rallying up your family members and friends to figure out how we can eliminate this ignorant mindset, then this movement might not be for you. The whole point is, I'm trying to get us to move past these dope rallies and move to different sectors. Organizations. Because unfortunately, there is a lot of Daunte Wrights, but they're in our school systems too. They're in our mental health clinics. Our social workers need support. Our teachers union, the young brother, what do you say? Where he's at? The teaching unions need support. But once again, what are you going to do when this rally ends? What are you going to do? Do you know how many people are really fighting for this? Like, all right, let me bring it back. I'm getting too excited. That coffee's kicking in, right? If you think Black Lives Matter is just a cute little sign or a hashtag and not a lifestyle, you can leave. If you don't realize that this is a lifestyle that you demonstrate by how you talk, by how you act, by the people you connect with, by the words you speak, by how you motivate people who may not look like you, then this movement might not be for you.
Come on.
But the key is though, we all need you to play your position. We're a team. We all have a different position in this. Some of you might be needed to educate the teachers. Some of you might be needed to uplift our kids. Some of you might be needed to run for politics. Some of you might be needed to be the next police commissioner. Some of you might be needed to be the librarian. I can keep going, but play your part.
Get in position. Let's go. Stay ready so y'all gotta get ready.
So, as they say, history tends to repeat itself. I don't know if I told you I got a 6-year-old son, and I pray to God that in the next 10, 15 years his ass won't be at a rally because you all, including myself, are playing our part.
Come on. Come on.
Make sure you take this fight beyond the rally. God bless.
More noise! More noise! Alright, up next, we're gonna bring up Robin Amir from the Black Caucus of Socialist Alternative. Make some noise, y'all, make some noise! Not loud enough, make some noise! Not loud enough, make some noise!
All right, no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
That's right. So my name is Robin Amara. I live in Boston. I helped form a tenants union this year to combat our really wealthy landlord that refused to take care of working people. I'm also a member of the Black Caucus of Socialist Alternative, an active fighting organization, and I just wanted to be here to share some words. So across the 50 states, in large cities and small towns, millions of youth and working people have been gathering for the BLM movement as it surges on. We stand in protest of a system of state violence on black bodies like Emmett Till, Tamir Rice, Philando Castro, Tony McDade, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor. The system that took Khalif Browder's life, the system that causes an average life expectancy of 35 years old for our black trans community. 35.
Talk about it.
The system that refuses to acknowledge that we will not be subdued. We will not be subdued by oversight boards, corporate statements, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, black capitalism, nor business as usual. We've seen the state move into action about the COVID-19 pandemic. Though it's been slow and disorganized, they're doing so people can get back to work. Yet the state has done little, they've done nothing to end the pandemic of violence that they've created and upheld systemically for decades. Where is the vaccine to end the senseless, raceless deaths committed by police? Today, we have come here to say that Daunte Wright's life mattered. Police refused to show restraint when dealing with the black community, refused to show mercy as was shown for Kyle Rittenhouse and Dylan Roof, who murder and go home and get Burger King.
Come on, come on, come on.
I'm also here for Adam Toledo, a young boy shot with his hands up.
Come on, that's it, right? Come on.
Police say that those who comply with them will be spared. But what they say is as empty, as hollow as the bullets they spray on black and brown bodies.
Come on.
What we need right now, what the brother before me was talking about, what we need right now is not allyship. What we need right now is solidarity.
Come on.
Allyship is coming here and marching and then going home. Solidarity means taking up the fight alongside the black community.
Get committed.
It means fighting for the defunding of the police and fighting for fully funding public housing, education, and it also means Medicare for all. Medicare for all.
Talk that talk.
The police in the state don't give a damn about black bodies.
Gotta save ourselves.
The police in the state don't give a damn about black
Gotta
bodies.
save ourselves.
But we have to be honest. Police in the state don't give a damn about anybody. Funds were allocated to barricade and protect Kim Potter's house in recent days, yet every opportunity to protect the people who are victims to people like her becomes a pointless debate out of which we get crumbs.
Come on.
Money talks, and it's clear what we are being told. This morning, I woke up to news about a white homeless man, shirtless in a park, shot in the back in Portland, Oregon. Maybe y'all didn't hear about that yet. The state has no regards for our mentally ill or our homeless populations.
Come on.
They have no regards for human life. In Minneapolis, the Democratic City Council promised to defund the police, yet this promise has completely fallen through. We have not seen significant action taken in this country to curb police violence or prevent poverty by building up programs for our communities like public housing and schools. So if the state won't forge ahead, then we will. We will be the vaccine together in unity. As a woman of color, I know I'm not safe. Not safe in the car, not safe in the delivery room, not safe in the boss's office. I'll be the first to let go. But an injury to one is an injury to all.
Come on.
An injury to one is an injury to all. Say it with me. An injury to one.
It's an injury to all.
That's right. I want to see us gathered here like we are today. Like the brother before us was talking. This is nice. I'm glad to see all these faces, different colors, at different heights, everything. Everyone's diverse here. That's great. That's what we need. But I want it to be at city council meetings, at our union meetings, gathered in our break rooms, in our college dorms, with our community. We need to shut down business as usual. Block anyone who says it can't be done.
Educate.
Our humanity is at stake. It is. Police violence is the visible and violent hand of the state. I'm going to say it again. Police violence is the visible and violent hand of the state.
Come on.
But it's also an issue of labor. In Bessemer, Alabama, the poorest city and the poorest state of our nation, Amazon decided to build a factory to get workers to work for them. And what we saw over the past months was workers trying to get a seat at the table by forming a union. You guys heard about Bessemer, Alabama?
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Talk to us.
This workforce, maybe you didn't know, is 70 to 80% black workers. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, come on, talk to us.
It wasn't that loud. Y'all didn't know, but it's 70 to 80% black workers. And most of them are women. Amazon did one illegal thing after the other to stop these workers. We have yet to see any response or consequence to Amazon's ruthless, illegal union busting. This is how corporate America enacts racist violence while the state complies.
Come on.
I'm a proud member of Socialist Alternative, and I joined. Socialist Alternative, make some noise! I love my comrades. I joined when Bernie Sanders was taken down by the Democratic establishment in last year's primaries. Socialist Alternative believes, as I do, that this fight will not be won with faith in a single candidate.
Come on.
It won't be won through compromise or toothless reforms.
Come on.
And it won't be won based on identity politics.
Okay.
The best way to fight is by joining a fighting international organization of the working class, where we don't ignore racism, sexism, homophobia, but see the links to exploitation all under capitalism. And there's other groups here. Socialist Alternative is the one I'm a part of. I think I love it, but there's plenty of groups here. Everyone needs to be getting actively involved, like the brother before me said. We can't just be meeting here and gathering and going home. I'm almost done. You need to join an organization that builds a fighting working class that tackles all the oppressions to create a socialist economy that puts the powers in the hands of the workers and the youth.
Come on. Talk that youth talk. Come on. Empower these.
I'm so sorry, I forget the girl's name that was before, that spoke from Northeastern. We are working with Northeastern students and Roxbury residents to stop the building of a luxury dorm. Did y'all know about the luxury dorm? Yeah. All right, so gentrification is not just about white-owned businesses and fixing up apartments that just to jack up the rent, and push people out. It's about using the police and the state to force black people out of their homes, just like we saw with Breonna Taylor. Taylor lived in a home on a street that big landlords in the city wanted to clear out and revitalize. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but it's true. We can't let Northeastern enact state violence on black and brown Roxbury residents. And so, because of that, we are organizing. On Sunday, we are also having a public meeting where BLM activists like all y'all here today are going to talk about the movement and establishment lies and what all of us can do to take steps forward. On that call, we're going to have the DSA alderman from Chicago, Byron Sigcho Lopez. He will be there to talk about the death of Adam Toledo. We'll also have Amazon organizers that were on the ground trying to organize a labor union. Kim Potter, the 25-year police veteran, forgot the difference between her taser and her gun.
She didn't forget. She didn't forget.
She said she forgot, right?
She didn't forget.
Don't you forget that our solidarity is the engine of change.
Come on.
Black Lives Matter.
Let's go, sis.
Make some more noise, y'all. Make some more noise, y'all. Alright, so we're gonna just do some real quick housekeeping. I'm gonna read our demands, and then I'm gonna bring up two women that are gonna lead us in a grounding exercise before we head out. Alright, so first, I need all the marshals to raise your hands. All the marshals, raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. Most of them have on bright vests. Others are on bikes. You listen to them. If they tell you to turn, you turn. Don't listen to any other outside sources. Number one. Number two, when we go, it's going to be the truck. It's going to be our lead marshal, Mateo. Everybody make some noise for Mateo. We're gonna have the volunteers that are holding the banners behind Mateo, and then we're gonna have everybody else fall in behind them. When we leave, we're gonna head out this way. We're gonna take a left, so we're gonna wait for the truck to go out, Mateo, the banners, and then everybody else. Sounds good? Make some noise. If you have a sign, let me see it. While we're walking, I need to see the signs. You can put them down now. Who has a megaphone? Raise your megaphone if you've got one. You're chanting today. Raise your hand if you've got a voice. You're using that today. Today, we are all related to Daunte Wright. Make some noise. If you've got a drum, a pot, fucking anything that makes noise, use it. I had a cowbell 2 weeks ago and I had so much fun with that shit. Alright, so I'm gonna read the demands. This is the Freedom Fighters Coalition official demands for the Justice for Daunte Wright March. We are pursuing the end of state violence. Number one, we demand the immediate abolition of all police departments in the greater Boston area and the rest of Massachusetts to be replaced with community-led public safety systems. We demand the cases of Osama Rahim, Terrence Coleman, Bo Ramsey Wright, Dennis Yonoso, Santos LeBoy, and all victims of police brutality and murder, and let me add Moses Harris, and all other victims of police brutality and murder in Massachusetts be reopened, and that all officers involved be indicted, tried by an independent prosecutor, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I believe Brother Nino touched on this earlier. I'm not sure if this is verified yet, but still, we demand that all school resource officers are removed from schools and replaced with social workers and mental health counselors.
Let's go!
Yo, Nino, if we need to pull up to like Boston Public and be like, hey, ho, these motherfuckers gotta go, let me know. We demand the end of qualified immunity in the state of Massachusetts. Again, I said we demand the end of qualified immunity in the state of Massachusetts. We demand that the Massachusetts legislature passes the Breonna's law. We demand the outlawing of tear gas and pepper spray access by all police departments in Massachusetts. We demand the end to all additional prison restoration, constructions, and expansions in the state of Massachusetts. We demand the release of all prisoners in jails, prisons, and detention centers in Massachusetts, prosecuted by the state for non-violent crimes by review processes that reevaluate sentence terms. And the last one, which is very important, especially what's going on right around the corner, we demand the decriminalization of mental health episodes, people with disability, homelessness, drug-related incidents, and all other non-violent crimes. formed by the conditions of our society, and instead the allocation of funds towards programs that address these issues, such as mental health treatments, housing first initiatives, and equitable access to education, and much, much more.
Let's get it!
Alright, so before we get started, life is really fucked up, so we need to get into a good space, because when we go on to this march, we need to march with purpose. We need to march with intent. I want everybody to go home in the same condition in which you came here today. I'm not going to tell you how to protest, but I'm going to just tell you what I wish. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up I'm going to bring up Hiba, who is going to help us with the grounding exercise. Thank you. Make some noise for me. Make some noise for Hiba, y'all.
Okay, hi guys. So actually I'm not doing the grounding exercise, Mila is. So I'm just gonna ask you guys to pay attention closely to what they ask of you. And just, kind of keep quiet as they do this grounding exercise so we can all focus and just bring in the good energy, alright? Mila, you can come up.
This is good. Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Camila de la Vega Maldonado. I use she, they pronouns. Before we get started, I'm going to do a little bit of space moving. I'm going to ask right now for all Black, Brown, Indigenous femmes to come to the front. If you're not identifying in those genres of human, see yourselves somewhere else. Everybody over there, towards closer, that's closer to BPD. If you are Black and Brown femme, come closer. Step up, step up. Over here on my left, if you behind me and you're a Black and Brown femme and you want to come in the front, I see you. I see you seeing me. Okay, if you don't want to be in, I understand, but Okay, the next thing I want to do is do y'all need water? Do you need a mask? Do you need anything? Do we have people with water? Okay.
Both cars back here have water.
Okay, does anyone need water? Can you raise your hand if you need water? All your needs met. Can we get some waters out here for these folks? Yeah, we're getting them. Raise your hand if you need water. Right now, you're in the front. You're a Black and Brown Indigenous femme person. Raise your hand if you need water. Higher. I'm gonna need you to raise it higher. I'm gonna need you to claim your needs. Thank you.
Water. Who needed it? Someone over here.
Folks over here need water. I don't know if they had. You're good.
Anybody else?
Okay. It seems like everybody has their needs met, yeah? Okay. Can I ask people over here on the right to come in a little closer if possible?
As we move, I will roll down cars are also going to have water.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for doing that movement with me. I'm going to ask Hiba, do you want to do this with me? Okay, come on. So we're going to do an exercise right now that I learned on a silent retreat, a meditation retreat. And I'm going to explain a little bit what we're going to do first, and you don't have to do it right away. And then I'm going to explain why I'm bringing it here into this space. So what's going to happen is, and some of y'all who have been at protests and might know my face to a certain degree, you might be familiar with what we're doing, but we're going to turn to somebody we don't know. So if you're here with the homies, find somebody else. So we're going to turn to somebody we don't know, right? You don't have to do it right now. And this always happens with us. We just want to kiki and talk and da-da-da-da-da, like, okay. So it's that we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do something that might be really uncomfortable, and we're gonna look into each other's eyes for a while. I know, intimacy.
All right, good to see you, man.
And at that point, what might happen, and if you have something in your hands, you can put it down at that point. You don't have to do it right now, but eventually your hands, if you're able to, are gonna find your chest, they're gonna find your stomach, or they're gonna go by your side, right? And the reason why we're doing this is because when we talk about violence, right? Like when we talk about violence in between race, and when we talk about like gender violence, when we talk about like violence in between classes and things like that, there's always this element of like, I don't know you. Or what I do know about you is like this certain type of stereotype. It's like this preconceived notion of who I think you are and what you might do to me, what you might inflict on me, right? Some misinformation that I've known my entire life, right? And I'm gonna project that. So what this exercise does we're gonna feel that uncomfortableness in our bodies, like literally feeling I feel it in my chest. And what happens in between each other, right? Like in between what if we started to visualize and we just were able to sit in that being uncomfortable?
How you doing, man? All right.
And just see what's human in it. And see someone is just somebody's child. It's just somebody's love. And then eventually that feeling in your body as you're breathing into it, I don't know. And all of a sudden your mind and your eyes and your body are trained to see that person different. You're slowly training yourself and your body to see that person different. So I know that's a lot of words for just a like menial little activity, but that's how I do mine.
Hold Benny to the back.
So let's get started. So find a person you don't know.